Hello, my name is Jana Skokan. I'm the co-founder of Frogeex. I want to welcome you and thank you for joining our Frogeex YouTube channel today. If you like the content that we're sharing and the ideas that we're discussing, please like it, comment on it, and share it. And most importantly, come and join us on our live events. You have the opportunity to discuss with experts, exchange with like-minded people, and expand your perspectives all around topics related to sustainable building, sustainable living. And I also want to encourage you to click the little notification bell, subscribe to our channel, and never ever miss another episode of Frogeex Green Tech Talks in the future. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one.
Today, our topic is sustainable tourism. Now, I have a great pleasure to dial in from the Alps. We are also on a trip privately in a village over here. So it's also a great opportunity to talk, to compare, and to see, what are the elements that are maybe well developed here, or what is eventually missing. And the reason why we talk about sustainable tourism, especially as Frogeex, as a green tech marketplace, is that it's connected basically to all sorts of stuff that we work with. We work a lot with buildings. We work a lot with also outdoor development of the environment. And as you know, hotels or resorts that they have, you are on this talk, you are interested in the area, they have a huge impact on the environment. Whether we talk about water usage, it's a little bit shocking when you see the numbers, what, a five-star hotel or an average hotel can do in terms of average usage compared to, normal citizens of a city or of a location. So it's supposed to be 7 times higher. When we talk about luxury hotels, it's incredible. It's like 73 liters compared to 5,000 liters. So it's really a lot of resources that is being utilized. Of course, we need to consider space. We need to consider the waste, which is created daily by tourists when they are in a certain area. We have soil degradation, of course, energy, huge energy usage. When we have now a little bit of consideration around, temperatures, and also a little bit the imbalance of the seasons. So a lot of people go to the warm destinations when there is actually the biggest demand for water and the biggest challenge to also have it delivered in such a amount to people. So this is why we talk about sustainable tourism today. Now, all of you have a little bit, connected, your work, your projects are connected to that. And that's the idea. Exchange a little bit the best practice, the experience which you have. It's a great pleasure to introduce the speakers of today. I would start with Joao. Joao, you are the first on the image. So if that is okay for you, we would start with you, the presentation. So Joao is also an expert in this field, a thought leader in terms of sustainable tourism in the region of Algarve, looking at various elements developing or kind of keeping, reviving the region, not only touristically, environmentally, but also culturally. So as what we see like from this intro is there is a lot more connected to that to tourism than what one can see from on the first side. Then it's a great pleasure. So thank you very much, Joao, to be here with us. I would just introduce also the next person, which is going to speak. So it would be Mr. Julian Bailey from Una Bamboo. Una Bamboo is also a great project. If I'm not mistaken, you are based in Sri Lanka. Is that correct? Wonderful.
That's correct.
Wonderful. Absolutely. It's also an amazing project which you started quite some time ago, and we're looking forward to hear more, on the approach, on the combination. It's a hotel, it's accommodation combined also with preservation of handcraft and, workshops connected to this. So I'm really looking forward that you're going to tell us more about, what you do, what are your challenges, and also exchange a little bit what might be the potential there. Next on the full packed agenda of today is Mr. Markus Siegfried from Nature Tours from Switzerland. So Markus, thanks a lot for taking the time and being today with us. Markus is going to talk with us about his recent travel, if I'm not mistaken, to Kyrgyzstan, and the aspects which you consider sustainable, or what is your interpretation or combination of sustainable tourism, but also different aspects. We're going to look at social aspects of travels, for the local community, etc. So thank you so much, Marcus, for being with us. With this, I would continue to, a very powerful speaker in this session as well, Mr. Mario Campo. Mario is a biodiversity expert, but he's also working with resorts and hotels, and companies of a different size and, a segment as well, developing biodiversity concepts that can enhance their, approach to attracting tourists, developing the region, and of course, nurturing nature in the region and kind of bringing life back. So thanks a lot, Mario, for being here with us and also sharing your expertise and experience. And last but not least, it's a great pleasure to welcome Dr. Julio Campo with us, dialing in from Brazil. And Julio is a systemic thinker by nature and an expert in ecological economy. So quite interesting perspectives he tends to bring to the table when talking about sustainability and, a kind of holistic approach to whatever there may be. So thanks a lot for being with us today. Thanks to everybody for taking the time to join us. If you would like to ask a question or something, we will monitor the chat. And with this, I would hand over to Joao, if that is okay for you and you would like to take the lead. It needs to be sharp, so 7 minutes. I'm going to be the timekeeper, so we leave space for the others and then have also a Q&A. So if you would have concrete questions, please share this with us. Yeah. The sharing function should be enabled. If you would like to share, a visual, etc., please, you can do so.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here and to share some thoughts and ideas about sustainability in tourism. I hope everybody can hear me well. Well, just let me a very quick presentation. So my name is João Ministro. I'm talking from Algarve, from the south of Portugal, which is the main touristic region of Portugal. We are a tour operator, so we promote several kinds of programs in the Algarve, mostly based on nature and culture. And of course, talking about tourism in a region which has on this activity, its main economical activity. Of course, sustainability, it has a strong connection with it. So it's the new word, it's the new discussion going on. It's all about sustainability, and of course, since tourism it's our main activity, of course there is a lot of talk about tourism and sustainability, and how these two things connect in different perspectives. Of course, it's a big issue. As Jana says, we can be talking about lots of things: water, energy, biodiversity, how all these things connected, and what's the role of tourism in all these issues. I'm going just to focus on something which is quite important here also, and it's also part of our job, which is related with tourism and territorial development. Well, just very briefly, well, as you know, nowadays, talking about sustainability tourism, it's something which it's growing a little bit everywhere. So lots of information talking about what's going to happen in tourism. And of course, after the pandemic, this kind of information increased. So there is a big perspective of people looking for different kinds of experience, going to nature, going to the natural parks, going to the countryside, not only because of the sense of security, but also all the issues related with nature and connecting with the local communities, traditions. So there is a big amount of information showing what is the perspective for the next years about this kind of traveling. This is just some small news. There is, of course, everywhere people talking about it. So I'm not going to say much about it because I'm sure that everybody's aware of it. So there is, of course, there will be, of course, a big demand of different kinds of experience. Our role as agents being on the field, our mission is to use these kind of new trends and to see and to work with them and try to make some positive of it. And there have been some significant approaches about it, but to be honest, some of these approaches they weren't very effective. One of the things I remember last couple of years is that there was a classification, there was a designation of tourism in 2019-20 as the word connecting rural with tourism, but nobody talked about it. But at least there was a group of people in the tourism organization, World Tourism Organization, that noticed that there is a big issue connecting tourism with territory and rural grounds. There is, of course, a connection, and there are profits that can become of these connections. And of course, this is something that we have been working on. So you can have an idea, Algarve, as I said, it's the most touristic region in Portugal, but it is also one of the regions which is losing more people in the countryside. Some places in the countryside are losing most of the population to the coastline. Even today, I was in a place called Monchique. Monchique is in the mountains, and Monchique in the 60s, it used to have 14,000 people living there. Nowadays, it's around 5,000 people. So in 50 years, lost more than 50% of the population. And this is a phenomenon which is happening in the countryside a lot. And when people abandon the countryside, there are lots of problems going on. In one hand, we are losing people that manage the territory, managing the land, the landscape. And of course, by managing the land, it's also a way of preventing some problems, for example, with forest fires. We have a big issue in Portugal, as you know, with forest fires. And one of the reasons why these forests are becoming bigger is that you don't have much people living in the countryside and managing the countryside. The other issue is that by abandoning this territory, we are losing also cultural issues, environmental issues, and we are losing some of those attractions which are the main attraction for tourists. So how can tourism, of course, be a helpful tool to restore some of these territories? And this is something we have been working on, and we have been quite involved. It's trying to bring people to the countryside, working with the local communities, working with young entrepreneurships that want to start their own business in the countryside, trying to establish new people in some of the village, and knowing that connecting these two realities, you know, tourism with the people living in the countryside, we are trying to resolve some of these big problems, like, for example, the abandonment of the countryside, the cohesion territorial, which is something it's being talked a lot nowadays, which is the balance between the coastline and the countryside, and of course trying to keep some of the natural and the cultural issues which are quite important here, and of course they are the main attraction of people that want to go to these places. Of course, this is not easy, it's not fast, and there are several ways of doing it. In our work, of course, we sell and we promote different kinds of programs in one hand, but in the other hand, we have some products going on where we work directly with local communities, local craftsmanship, local farmers, and we try to put them inside our programs. We train them and we try to combine things so they can also get some revenues from this tourism. So the tourism must be a tool which can be able to offer people that want to live in the countryside some revenue for their work there, as a kind of also as a compensation for their important work in the landscape, of course, but also it should be a kind of should be also as a kind of recognition of their work in the countryside. So people, the self-esteem of these people living there and that want to live there should be also be guaranteed somehow also with tourism. So there is a kind of a very difficult work to do it, to manage, so that tourism can be a quite important tool for these territories. Of course, nowadays, you have, in Portugal at least, we have a big discussion going on There is a national plan for sustainability in tourism, which is something new, and the Tourism of Portugal, the Institute, are working on it. For the first time, there is a kind of a multitask group which is working in several levels, in several issues. For example, with water, which is a big issue now in Portugal, as you can imagine. In the south, we are having in this moment a very, very difficult problem with water. We are having a long dry season, and if in the next months we don't have any rain, we are going to have a very serious problem in the Algarve. So there is now a multitask team working different issues for the first time in the National Plan for Sustainability in Tourism. We are involved in some of those issues, mostly regarding with local communities, culture, and also environment, mostly nature. And all these things should be connected. If you want to keep people in the countryside, if you want to bring people to this territory, we have to work on these different multi-layers in tourism, which is now the big issue, of course. So, well, this is just a first. I'm going to stop. This
Perfect,
is
perfect.
some issues to talk about. And then, of course, we can continue the discussion and develop some more of these teams. Thank you, Jana.
Super. Thank you so much, Joao, for sharing this great presentation. Amazing points that you mentioned. With this, I would move straight to Julian. Julian, would you like to share, your approach in Una Bamboo? What is unique? What is like the tools that you work with to enable sustainability and many other social and economic benefits for the community?
Hi, everyone. So my name is Julian, and so can you see?
Perfect.
Okay, can you see my screen properly? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm here to present you Una Bamboo. So Una Bamboo is based in Sri Lanka. It was set up in 2019 by my partner Ifa and I, following a bamboo training we did in Bali. So after this training, we were eager to bring this knowledge to Sri Lanka using biophilic design and green building ideas. So we developed this Una concept, which is an 8-key bamboo eco hotel on the south coast of the island. So the mission for Una is that it can act as a turning point for the bamboo construction industry in Sri Lanka, showcasing the value of locally grown bamboo and igniting the bamboo movement in the island. So we spent the last 3 years promoting and generating investments in a sustainable bamboo industry in Sri Lanka as a holistic investment in renewable carbon sequestration, rural job, and land regeneration. So in developing our eco concepts, we began by asking how we wanted to live ourselves, testing the boundaries of what comfort and wellness can mean without causing unnecessarily harm to the environment. So from the beginning, we felt a sense of duty in exploring new way of living for the planet, as well as for the community around us. So this way of thinking brought us to concepts around biomimicry, biophilia, permaculture, material futures, and a lot of other ideas like water conservation and how we can put the least possible problems in the local environment. So by opening our minds to such ideas and learning to apply them to our vision, we created an exciting dialogue around the future of what a hotel can mean and what positive change that a hotel can bring and inspire in its guests and the local community. So as we mentioned before as well, the construction industry as a whole today is contributing to a massive 38% of global CO2 emission. So for us, the first step was exploring the use of natural material and locally sourced material in order to reduce our impact immediately at the construction stage. So bamboo, thanks to its rapid growth, some species can go up to 80 centimeters a day, and high carbon sequestration has become a very sought after material for sustainability and lightweight construction. Bamboo on itself can grow on degraded soils, which cannot be used for farming or other human activities, help filter water, improve groundwater level tables, maintain soil erosion, and creates biodiversity. So bamboo is actually thriving in Sri Lanka, and it's an abundant resource which have largely remained intact, at the contrary of other Southeast Asian countries. So we are complementing the bamboo by exploring the use of other local material like mati, which is a type of clay, and iluk, which is another type of thatch, which works really well in harmony with the environment. So by using such material in the development of a tourism destination, we are creating tourism employment, but also creating local innovation, circular supply chain, and rural employment opportunities. A really important thing for us also, as well, was the material life cycle. So how does the life cycle of a bamboo project compare to other asset classes as normal hotel? So with the development of modern bamboo preservation technique, bamboo is now viewed as a timber of the future due to its capability of rapid growth, its strength and versatility. So well preserved, a bamboo structure can last more or less around 30 years. So that makes it a prime candidate for building hotels, which usually have a lifespan of 20 years. So the hotels in general, with their short lifespan, result in large volume of non-recyclable waste at a huge cost to the land and the planet. So a bamboo project, at the contrary, can be disassembled quickly and easily by hand for the most part, with a possibility to repurpose all materials, unlike concrete and glass. So the key for us in building with a material like bamboo is that the site itself is the most important asset that we have, and all the potential we saw on that land when we first arrived there. So it's important for us to maintain this potential, and bamboo allows us to do that. So the skill sets is very important as well. So in Sri Lanka, nobody is used to build with bamboo. So for us, it was very important to design for the local skill sets. So in order to tackle that point, and in the view of developing a new industry in Sri Lanka, we organized a 12-day bamboo workshop with Yokstam, which is a bamboo master builder, and this was to upskill the local carpenter around the island. The workshop actually finished last week, and there was, and we can definitely say that there's a massive appetite here in Sri Lanka in moving out for concrete buildings to more natural materials. So around 30 participants were present, and everybody grew by exchanging ideas on sustainability, sharing know-hows and how-tos. There was people from actually all around the world. So it was very interesting. And this amazing experience also gave us the chance to build our first chalet prototype, proving the project feasibility, and also understanding a bit better our cost analysis of the entire project. So these workshops on bamboo or other assets are an integral part of Una as an experiential destination in the south of Sri Lanka. So the social impact is very important. And when we speak about sustainability or regeneration, it is paramount to take social aspects into account, bringing positive change around us. So by working alongside our farming neighbors and buying directly from them, we can develop the use of old crops that they used to use and just change to newer crops using chemical fertilizer. So we want to reverse that. So they don't need chemical fertilizer. So it improves soil health and improves the life of the community. So at the center of the Una development, we are always asking us the question, is it good for nature? Are we improving the quality of life of the community? Are we empowering people to have a better life? So the answer to this question are really guiding us to make sure that we are pursuing the right goal, a sustainable and regenerative tourism destination. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Julian. Was an amazing presentation. And yeah, with this rhythm, I would continue with the next speaker, which is Marcos. Marcos, thank you so much, Julian. Thank you.
I want to give you an introduction, what I do and how I am involved in sustainable tourism. For that case, I also share. I have to share that now like that. Just one moment. Do you see the website actually?
We see the,
You
yes,
see nature tours, right? I mean,
yes.
I'm based in Switzerland. I actually work for 3 companies or organizations as introduction. I've been co-founding this tour, Nature Tours, which has now a different name brand. It was Globotrek before, about 30 years ago. I've been working till 2010 for tourism. We always offered small tours uh, in small groups, which are almost not possible to do individually. This was the original case, and then our main case was always to prepare people socially to the tour, to have a small participant number, and to be very close to the local people by walking and having cultural exchange. We are in the German part of Switzerland. I took the liberty to translate a few parts. Just one moment. Here you see. Since 2010, I work for SS Children's Village Switzerland, building sustainability journeys, awareness with companies, co-workers, and networks at the favor of children and youth without parental care. And also there, I have an experience as tour guide, but like on a different level, to bring people to sensitive areas. And the third job I have, I work for the association Swiss Clean Tech. Together, we move politics and society to ensure that Switzerland is CO2 neutral by 2050 at the latest. So I try to combine that. My main job is actually as Children's Village in Switzerland, but I still make tour guiding about every 2 years to these special areas of nature tours. And what is actually the sustainability credo of nature tours? A short summary is take your time. Travelers should prepare for destinations. We almost with all tours we make preparation meetings. I mean that's another work we have to do, but people really like this kind of preparation because normally people don't have time to read books and they are just there. We really want to bring people already before the tour uh, to operation, yeah, to the preparation of the tour. For long distance travel, make one longer trip rather than several short ones. This is the other credo we have. The journeys to and from the holiday destination accounts for around 80% of the ecological footprint. So if you make less travel, long travel, maybe more expensive travel, which are well prepared, it's also from the sustainability, it's definitely better from our point of view. And we, of course, we want to have good partners in our countries, in our destinations. The people in the host country deserve respect. Their self-determination and dignity are very important values, and we also want to give that, to bring that to our customers. We want to bring added value for the locals. The money should reach the local population as much as possible. People who book local accommodation instead of hotel chains, big hotels, and prefer local service providers. And so we definitely support small units, small businesses in the countries where we organize our tours. And so fair prices, I mean, our aim is not to have very cheap offers. Bargains do not secure the livelihood of the population. Fair prices enable fair wages and promote investments. We want to inform the people also about fair tips. You can give too much because you still have the money value of your country where you live. You must also prepare or be prepared regarding that the local inflation is not starting again. And then, of course, the environmental respect, comfort requirements should not lead to the waste of resources such as land and water. The environment should be taken care of in all respects. These are some of our main credos. Then Other commitments we want: travelers influence the natural environment as little as possible. The aim of every trip is to discover, experience, and live the destination authentically. And as Jana told you, I just led a tour in Kyrgyzstan now this August, and we were about 12 people, so a small group. We had the preparation meeting, and the main issue of this tour was to have a good mixture of discovering experience, be integrated very close to the local people, and not being in big hotel chains where you're like in a cocoon and are not really close to the local people. And I think this segment actually was covering now. They were all the people, I think they were quite well earning. I think that there are more people than you think can make exceptional tours, which are also or can reduce or can stay in very simple guest houses if you prepare them right, and I think that that's a chance to understand local people better. So our local partners are small, often family-run businesses. Thanks to this cooperation, we can guarantee the highest possible local added value. And for us, it's so important that a secure income for the local population also forms the basis for environmental protection in the respective destinations. So everything broadens the horizons, promotes mutual understanding, and of course, it's also very important to select the local partners very precisely to and again not to put on the price, but really put on the quality. That's maybe the general parts. We have the travel description in German, but about the travel I actually guided, but the highlights I just put in a few bullet points. There was really to see the culture, to have an idea about the historic culture the country has, in that case Kyrgyzstan, to do day trekkings. This don't have to be long trekkings. We made about 4 to 5 hours walks, and we had the possibility for the customers that they didn't have to take part, because we always made only day trekkings where the customers who were maybe not that fit could also travel by car to the end destination of the day. So we have like this flexibility. We had workshops. Instead of all this consuming, for instance, local food, we also made traditional cooking together with the local people. We made manufacturing of traditional yurts. So the nomadic farmer houses you see everywhere. It's nice to look and photograph them, but it's much more interesting to be part of it, to see how it's created. What is the, how can you say in English? What is the history about it? And we had about 2-3 hours information about that. We could help build the yurt ourselves, and so it goes much more. It's much more a great event for the people. Then we had a textile workshop with a women's cooperative. We actually worked together with Helvetas, with a Swiss NGO. So we visited this project and had a deeper view how these women are actually supported. And this was like a third part of being proactive besides just enjoying the tour. Then dinners and lunches. A great thing I thought is we were in some hotels, of course, where but the dinners we mostly had with local families. We had, Kyrgyzstan is a country with a big variety of ethnics, from China, influenced by China, influenced by Russia, influenced by Uzbekistan, and so we could find about these local families, what they think, how they eat, and had discussions with that. It's a great thing to be so close to the ethnic cultures. And then another thing which is interesting, we visited a local farm applying sustainable farming on the one hand, but also giving job opportunities to the local farmers, enabling school lessons for their kids, because you must imagine if these farmers are quite away from local schools, you have to bring a solution that the kids have can also reach the education. And so that way, I was very impressed how this local farm really applied not just the needs of the tourists, but also the needs of their co-workers and their kids. And then a few hotels we visited are supported by foundations supporting entrepreneurial ideas and sustainable tourism, like solar panels, water, and giving business ideas. This was also a very nice side part of this tour. And at the end, we had small vehicles. We have local guides who were very well educated, or maybe the local organizer has to pay a little bit more wages, but at the end, people are really ready to pay a little bit more for a small special tour with all these elements I was explaining on. Yeah.
Okay, excellent, Marcus. So with this, thank you so much for this presentation. Great. Let's continue with Mario. Mario, are you with us? And thank you so much, Marcus. And then the last but not least, of course, would be Julio, Dr. Julio Campos, with sharing his perspective on sustainable tourism. Mario, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Let me
Perfect.
share.
Yes, wonderful.
Yes.
We see your screen. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, good afternoon for everyone. Thank you for the invitation, Janet. Once again, and I want to be quick to speak about a specific case study that I'm setting up in the field right now. It's called Arrábida Soundscapes. It's a landscape that you can hear, and I will explain you how the idea comes out. So to start, who I am shortly, I am a biologist. I work with biodiversity, and I have a degree in managing natural values, and I call myself an ecosystem manager. So because here in Portugal, some colleagues and some of my jobs, it's about Batman, because my specialty in biology is about bats. But now I usually do managing places or landscapes. And here the example that I bring to you, it's an hotel called Hotel Casa Palmela. It's near it's near Lisbon. It's about 30 minutes of Lisbon. It's countryside. It's near it's near it's inside of a natural park called the Rábida, and this is a luxury hotel. So in the past I have a wrong idea of the luxury, and this hotel teach me this, because when we think about luxury and 5-star hotels, I just think about something closed, something that no one can enter. And this is the opposite. This hotel, it's opened. Always the gate is open. You can bike inside of the property. You can hike. You can do anything you want inside of this hotel. You can go to the restaurant. You can use the hotel also without being in the hotel, and you can use all the land and all the landscape they have. They permit this, and this is the hotel. This is the image of the hotel. The hotel has a huge history. It's a family house from the owner. You have here the vineyards. It's a very different hotel. It's the only one inside of the natural park of Rábida. So it has some issues because the Conservation Institute made some demands to have the hotel. So they have to manage well the landscape. So they have to have some, so in this image you don't see, but they have the solar panels, they have water systems, intelligent water systems, they have a lot of measures to reach the sustainability that the institute requires. But it's not just a demand of institute. The owner and the owners also want to do it, because almost of the clients are not Portuguese. And when we look to the clients outside of the country, always people seeks for biological, for the sustainable, the words of the fashion, they look for it. So they do it not just they are requested to, but they want to. They live this way. Here you can see the vineyards. They are explored for a local wine producer, a well-known wine producer, and all the property is very rich in terms of biodiversity. For this hotel, I started to be a local guide to the customers. It's a small kind of tourism, because I go with a family or just with the couple, or it's a small scale tourism, and very directed in personalized, because the tour, it's never the same. I don't have a script. So, and that's why my mind came with this idea of this project. And the project, it's about also my experience like a biologist. When I have to do a survey of anything, we almost didn't see the animals, but I know they're there. Or we have the signs, we have the trails, but there is something that enriched the landscape. It's the sound, and I work with the sound of bats also. So I get to realize that why not explore the sounds of nature? And the project, it's all about the sounds of nature. And also that's regarding this landscape, all these calm, all this biodiversity that we have in the property, they use it also for another experiences. They have the retreats for yoga, they have another experiences, but they use everything they have. So they have this amazing place, they have this amazing sunrise, so they use it, and I use it also. I do it also, the sunrises at the vineyards. I walk with people with about 20 minutes or 30 at least, at maximum, and stop in this table with the wine. So we stimulate the tourists to have a different view from the vineyards, because I work a lot with vineyards along the country about the sustainability plans of the vineyards regarding to the ecosystems. And then I give them the different view of that term, the terroir, about the wine. I give them the natural terroir, the natural way, or the natural view about terroir. And then they stop with the wine and they drink it in a different way. So they drink the wine from the place. It's the local wine, it's a wine from the region, and they drink it and taste it in a different way. So I give them the microorganisms of the soil, the vegetation, the flowers, the pollinators, the birds, everything. Because I have a phrase and a sentence that it's called, it's like that, because the wine, it's not made just by grapes, it's made by the microorganisms and everything I said. So inside of the glass, it's not just grapes. And here the project, it's inside of the natural park, as you see here by green. This is the hotel here. And this is one of the boards of the project. It's in Portuguese, in English. You can see here the hotel, and you can see here all the natural park. So it's in the middle of the park. This year, unfortunately, we have a huge fire here inside. It's a shame. And what we think, we have these trails inside of the property. They are all marked. And we think that we can do 50 points of to listen. This is the 50 listen spots that we have. What we do in these spots, we have Bluetooth devices, these ones. And when you get there with the mobile phone, you get a pop-up in your mobile phone advising you that you have a point to listen something, and what you are going to listen, and how we get that database. Here, the Bluetooth device, all the recording devices that we made to build the database, and then in the end, it's not handed now. I'm setting up the project in the field. We will have recordings from spring, from summer, from winter, from autumn, and by day and by night. What we can hear: birds, insects, bats, humans, also human, because we have a lot of interference about human. When I started recording, I didn't realize that this is a line passage from planes. I can hear the planes in some recordings, and I will let it go because it's a natural, not a natural, but it's a natural sound from that place. So in some places I can hear the roads. I will let the roads stay in the recordings. In the hotel, sometimes you do weddings party, so I will let some recordings by night with the wedding in the sounds. So this is the teaser of the project that we show in the social media. It's in Portuguese, but it's just a teaser. And I want to, why this project, or why we do this project? Because you can use the nature in our profit without hurt the nature. This is a whole project. Will go with, yes, it's true, with technology. We don't want technology in nature, but you have to use, and sustainability, it's that, it's using technology to do things more efficiently. And if you can use it with respect, I think we can manage it. So we are going into the nature. So if you are visiting the hotel in the summer, you can hear, in the winter or in the autumn, you can hear the birds migrating, for instance. You can hear an eagle passing. You can hear the owls. You can hear also the present without the mobile phone. You can hear the present, and you will have some boards explaining what we are hearing. And also the Bluetooth device gives you a landing page of the hotel and will explain you what you are hearing in the points. So it's technology, okay, but I think you can enjoy the nature wisely. And just a ultimate note. Rábida, it's calling now to be a landscape from UNESCO, protected place from UNESCO. If it does, if it going to be, there is landscapes, soundscapes from UNESCO. This is not a new idea, but there is certified soundscapes from UNESCO. If you are going to be a landscape from UNESCO, you are able to apply them. So this is my main goal in the future. It's to have a soundscape from UNESCO here in Rábida.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Mario. With this, I would just take the opportunity. Thank you so much. A great presentation. Looking forward to the questions, and let's move to Julio because we are rather tight with the time.
Well, the great presentations. Thank you. I'll be very brief. I'm Julio. I'm here in Brazil, near São Paulo. My background is on oceanography, but I ended up working with ecological economics. And today I like to call myself an expert on sustainability, because I like to analyze sustainable solutions and see when they will have a problem, if they will have a problem. And I have a contact zone with tourism and sustainable tourism due to my PhD. Let me share here. This is Ilha Bela. Can you see it's sharing? Yes. It's here at the coast of São Paulo. It's the largest coastal island from Brazil. And from the tourism side, it has a few interest aspects and conflicts. It's a protected zone from is a state protected area. But here in Brazil, you cannot have, for instance, private beaches. So all those beaches are accessible by car. Only this zone as the channel is accessible, and this isolated beach here. All the others only by boat. And there's a fee to cross by ferry to the island that is used for conservation. But there's a few interest conflicts here. I did my PhD on this area. We'll talk about that a little later. And I analyzed the environmental costs, social and environmental costs within the economic evaluation side on the Ilha Bela tourism. Costs of what? Here's the interesting point. We have all this major tourist area here from the northern coast of São Paulo. And here we have the major oil terminal from Brazil. It's the single major oil terminal. Here we can see some tankers loading or unloading right across the channel. So what I did, I was researching how the oil spills from this activity impacts the tourism activity on the island. And that was back in 2004. Luckily, since then, we had no more oil spills. And today we have another huge problem here in the coastal side of the island, which is the real estate business. There are great expansion for building houses along the side of the coast where you can reach by car. And that is conflicting with all those natural areas from the beach. And that's a very, very common problem here when it comes to coastal tourism in Brazil, because we have high valued land plots on the coastal areas, but also high very fragile, very important areas to be preserved as the same place. We have here at the Bahia state up in North Salvador a series of coastal resorts that were built on dune areas and causes a major problem here, major disruption of the dune areas without bringing back any benefit for the local communities or for the environment whatsoever. It's very popular, for instance, here in hotels in Brazil as a sustainable solution to give the guests the option to not wash the towels. You can bathe, you can put the towel, hang the towels, let it dry, so you don't need to wash it. The sheets from the bed as well. So just like we do at home, we don't wash that every day. The hotels give that option, and hey, we're sustainable. That's a sustainable option. We are saving water. They can have near preserved areas, provide tours to that areas, and hey, that's a sustainable activity or sustainable. So we have lots of conflicts, of economic conflicts here between the tourism and the sustainable tourism. I would like to bring to the discussion a problem that we have here, and how do you approach? That is the number of tourists. We have, since we don't have only by law, we can close some places, creating protected areas, but we don't have ways to limit the number of tourists. So sometimes on that very island, we can go, let's say by March, by now October, November, where is mid-season, and find the beaches, the beautiful beaches, clean, empty. You can dive, you can swim with the fishes, but if you go back in December, January, it will be crowded, absolutely crowded. It's and not polluted, but it's lots of waste. So that's a problem that you have here, which is we need to have people being able to assess the locations from the ecological economic side. This cultural aspect of reconnecting people to nature is paramount to make people more aware of the need to preserve nature, of the need to even not even if it's that pleasant place where they went for vacation, but the nature nearby their house where they live, they need to build that connection. I find very cool the presentation from Mars, the sounds of nature, particularly birds, and there's a sound that we can bring back to cities. For instance, you can have all those bird sounds on cities if we regenerate the nature in cities or around it. So that's a wonderful educational tool. About yes, we have all those nature sounds here, but well, we don't need to travel to here to have this. You could have that at home. So as a tool to build our awareness about the importance of nature, and this not only the importance but also this connection that you have to nature, as I was talking to Yana another day. Just feel good to have the nature. Let's say a beautiful landscape. You see a landscape, you feel good about to have and that makes you feel good. You don't need to have direct any kind of use of that landscape. You don't need to. If you know that there's a waterfall there, that's okay for you. You don't need to use that in any way. Just so this kind of reconnection, I think, is most important to make people on all this crisis that we are going through reconnect to nature and start to giving actual importance to stop degradation, stop pollution, stop all this damage that you're doing, and try to reverse the crisis. As I said, my work is a little bit tangential to tourism, but I hope I can provide some help, some insights on that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Julio. So it's going to be very tight, and you know, we have like 10-15 minutes more. I hope you can bear with us. When anybody would have a question, please shoot ahead. You can either unmute yourself or, you know, exchange on the practice on the concepts that you have. And meanwhile, I would just take the opportunity to also start a little bit of the discussion. I mean, Julio already mentioned it. And we work a lot with Dr. Campos on different topics, because it's just the conflict which we are going into, even when developing great concepts. It's really the demand, the attractiveness that is gonna, you know, that is gonna prove the impact in the end. So maybe to this, I have a very interesting example that I came across recently when preparing for this discussion. It was actually a document around sustainable tourism here in Switzerland, and there was a very contradictory example or situations shared, where one Swiss ski resort dealing with, you know, climate change and preparing for the increase in temperatures and having consistently lower snow contributions each year, lower snow levels. They started to prepare for this challenge because they were pretty much concerned about losing the attractiveness to tourists with installing more artificial snow machines, tapping into groundwater, which are apparently very essential for the communities. And of course, when you don't get the snow, the precipitation in the beginning, you will not be able to kind of regenerate the source as fast as before. So that was one example that I would like to just, you know, share with you. And the second example, which was shared in the same document, was another ski resort that basically had the same situation. However, they understood the situation totally differently, and they decided to go a different path. They started to reduce the numbers. They accepted a completely different concept, reduced the numbers of people that could enter the zone, left completely the concept of ski tourism as a primary goal. They went really into the direction of hiking, you know, connected to nature tours, and also this kind of experience connected tourism. So what is the outcome, or what is the result right now is the economic benefit of the second concept proved to be correct. So the operator of the ski resort is happy with the performance. The tourists still were attracted. It gained, however, a reputation of a more naturally connected space, even though it was limited in terms of the numbers. And the other one, they are still in type of looking for a journey to find the support to continue on their journey to artificially maintain the conditions, which is a little bit, you know, yeah, upon consideration. Why I mention this is it's always a little bit connected to some form of challenge, because many of you come with new ideas, new concepts that you're trying, you're running with either a foreign country, like for example, Julian, or starting a new format of engaging people, engaging local communities, proposing a new concept. So what I would like to throw in as a first question for you would be, what was the challenges that you had to start your project, or to bridge it after several months, or in the starting phase? What were the biggest challenges for you? If you can share this with us in optimal in like 60 seconds, that would be amazing. If you can give some key points that were very challenging for you. Who would like to start? Not everybody at once. Julian, I'm looking straight at you. Can we start with you? Is that okay?
Yeah, no worries. So I suppose for us, the biggest challenge in Sri Lanka is that bamboo is considered as a tree. So basically you need permits to harvest bamboo, transport bamboo, which I think is a great thing, because like it's a limited resource at the moment. But I suppose the fact that bamboo grows way faster than tree, and basically you're not cutting the full bamboo here. Bamboo is a clumping bamboo, so you probably have like about 100 or 200 bamboo culms in there, and you're going to harvest 10 to 15% of it if you're harvesting sustainably. So there was loads of bad knowledge around the plants. So that took us a long time to be able to harvest those bamboo and treat those bamboo and explain to the local community that actually we are doing a good thing for the environment. So I think that was our main issue at the beginning, but that's something that we are tackling now, and with showing the people what we are able to do with the material, how easy it is to work with, and how beautiful it looks like as well. We really hope that we are going to be able to develop this industry and stop the concrete, because here sand mining is a major issue, and it's a very limited resource on the island. Sri Lanka is tiny. It's not a big island. It's about 200 kilometers wide and maybe 350 up. So like it is limited resources. We have a lot of old forests. I think there's only 25% of the rainforest available now. So we really need to look at other ways, other materials like timber. Timber, when you harvest it, is going to take 20 years, and for some trees, it took them 100 or 400 years. Already, there's not anymore hardwood trees like teak and trees like this. So we definitely need to look somewhere else and just move, at least on the construction stage, move to other materials and more sustainable materials.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. A very interesting point. Joao, would you like to maybe share your challenges?
Well, very quickly, before, let me just say something to Julian. Julian, we have been also working with cane construction in architecture, because cane was much used in the past to build houses. And one of the projects that we have, it's about craft and architecture. And we are teaching young people to use cane, which is a kind of a bamboo here. And it's a plague, it's an invasive plant. And we are teaching them how to use the cane like in the old times, but with some innovation with the architects to build structures. So it's very nice what you're doing there. And maybe we should change contacts, because we are also doing some workshops like you've done there in Thailand, okay?
Fantastic. Well, and are you doing that with clay? Because I heard there was a workshop with cane and clay. Okay, so I think I know one of your participants that maybe.
Yeah, we start with cane, and then the second workshop was with clay, with cane and clay, because in the old times, the ancestral techniques, they used the cane as a fixer, and then they put the clay. Well, that's another conversation, but it's very sustainable. One of the things that working in this country, in the countryside with these people, we learn is that in the old times, these people live in the countryside, they were more sustainable than we are today, because they knew how to preserve, they knew how to reuse and to preserve the objects, they knew how to make a more efficient construction using the local materials. So and also how to use the water, for example. So there are much of in win-to-win working these small communities and teaching and learning and well, just about the question, Jenna. Well, it depends on the point of view. In my local point of view as a tour operator, of course, we have always small issues. And one of them is that we work with small communities in tiny rural areas, and we are losing people, and we are losing the, the local people that offer the experience that we like to share with our customers. So it's a running against time. But in a general perspective, I think there is a big issue about one thing, it's greenwashing, okay? So the greenwashing is something which is growing a lot also. Everybody is now sustainable, but if you look carefully, there is a big mix of things. In the end, it's not such a sustainable. And in the Algarve where we are, of course, now everybody wants to talk about sustainability. So there is a challenge in separating the things, which is real and not real. And of course, there is a big challenge, I think, mostly for the people that manage tourism, the institutions and the planners, which is how to make, in a way, very effective tourism giving back to the territory, which is, in the end, it's what we are talking about, how tourism should give back something to the territory. And of course, most of the tourism we have in the Algarve, like Julie's in Brazil, it's lots of mass tourism in the coastline, also problems with construction, a huge speculation nowadays going on. And that's also another problem which is affecting the countryside. If you try to fix young people in the countryside, the prices of the houses which are affected by speculation on the coastline, which is something strange, but it's happening, it's very hard to fix people in the countryside. So, I think there is a big challenge here to separate what kind of tourism you want to, and also how to support the real tourism, which is making difference. And in that way, I think, well, the tour operators also should work more together. And of course, the local institutions should support more this kind of tourism. I think that's the big challenge.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Marcus, thank you so much.
Yes, because I soon have to leave, but maybe I could give you, if I look back, I said in the beginning, at these 30 years of tourism, in the beginning, we wanted just to be special, to have a different kind of offering, like hard trekking tours. Of course, I was younger and was also fitter to make tour guiding like that, by the way. But this was very attractive to offer tours you cannot do on your own, because the Globetrotter was actually the mother house. They always wanted to have individual tours, and then we started to have organized tours, and the main point there was like very hard trekkings. You have to have local guides who know the area. This was just one part. But now if I look back after 30 years at this tour in Kyrgyzstan, we have so much more elements in it. We have the elements, as I told you, like workshops, preparation. We have little walks. We had also, I didn't mention before, a biologist who explained us about trees. These people are much more informed than 30 years ago, because you have the internet, you can pre-inform yourself, and you are more challenged to offer more diversity of sustainable things, and I think this mixture of culture, being together with local people, farming, this is a very nice mixture. And the great thing is it doesn't have to do anything then so much with fitness, and also with age, old people and young people can do that. And so I think this is a kind of doing kind of sustainable tourism. Of course, if you fly, it's never sustainable. But as I told in the beginning, if you spend maybe 30% more, you don't do 2 tours a year, only 1, but you really prepare yourself, you are pre-informed, then that's the future of a sustainable tourism for me. That's what I wanted to say. And so I really want to keep this mind also back to my colleagues at Nature Tours, and I think they really want to go on this. And I'm, of course, also a little bit sensibilized by my work with SOS Children's Villages, because there I see all the problems, and somehow I can put that together from my experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marcus, for this contribution. Sorry for that. My children, we are in the mountains, are close by. So with this, I would continue with Mario and Giulio. So, and thank you so much for the
Okay,
points.
maybe because I have to leave, I will send you also the link to this tour to everybody, and also to the website, but it's only in German, but that you have something more because I didn't have a real presentation. So thank you very much. It was very interesting. If you have questions, please contact me. All the best.
Thank you. Just drop your contact details from LinkedIn on
Sure.
the chat so we can see and connect with you. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. I do it just now, right? Okay. All the best.
Mario, would you like to?
Okay. Yes. So the issues or difficulties I have, actually, at this study case, I didn't have so much problems because they have the mindset and they want to make different. So they are already prepared to do something different. So in this case of the hotel, it was too easy. It was too easy because, but I think the difficulty, it's about doing something different. Like Marcus said, nowadays people knows a lot because they Google it, everything. And when we are going in a tour or doing some environmental education in a school, the kids and people knows a lot. Sometimes it's different to get to give a different information or giving a small detail of a plant or an animal or a landscape. It's very difficult. That's why this project it's different, because everyone can Google about an eagle or a plant or even the landscape and the park, the natural park, but they don't have the sounds. So when I give the tour, it's very bioacoustical. I share and then it's sensorial, because we have our landscape, Mediterranean area. It's good because you can smell heat and heat a lot of vegetables. So you can touch the flora, you can touch the grass, and you have different smells. This is not in Google. So you can enjoy the landscape with your sensory, in a sensorial way. So it's very, that's the difficulty. It's to give a different experience. But if you do it with your heart, I think it's very easy. And if you know the thing, so it's very easy to get different from the other kind of tourism. So that's why I don't have a script. It's every time it's a different tour. If I go with a couple, I talk about one thing. If I go with another one, I talk about another thing. So it's the nature talks with me, and I talk with people and translate it. I'm just a translator of nature to them. Just that.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mario. So yeah, last but not least, Giulio, would you like to maybe chip in your part in terms of challenges when dealing with this segment, and also, yeah, maybe changing a little bit the perspective, working with authorities, etc.
Yeah, right. Well, the main challenge that we have here is the eternal conflict between the needs of a sustainable activity that preserves the local, that don't cause harm, even maybe regenerate, with the economic interests. To have a sustainable tourism here, we need to have a limited number of tourists per year. That means a limited input of money into the local economy, and that's bad for all the interests involved besides sustainability. So the main challenge is how to deal with that, particularly on places like São Paulo, to the south of Brazil, where we have a very seasonal tourism, unlike Rio de Janeiro and upwards, where there is warm all year. So we lack of policies to give to people who rely on tourism alternative income source when the tourism is on the downside of the season, on the between January and January, March and October. So that's the major challenge that we have to deal here. Thank you.
When we can say so, it basically it's I would totally agree with you. It's the lack of legislation, lack of regulation. Regulation, we're gonna have certainly a little bit more on that in the coming calls. But one element that you mentioned, and this is also where we want to help, exactly also with your support, with your knowledge, to provide also possibilities for communities to generate new income sources, create new income sources, and base it on a different activity than before. So this is also the role that we play together as Frogeex, as you, as providers, as advisors, as concept creators, advising communities how to, develop the areas. I mean, Joao also mentioned a very interesting point when, getting people back, but once you have them back, you have a problem if there are too many. So it's also another element, and it's a very fine line that requires a lot of expertise to make the right decisions and the wise choices to really have it in balance. So this is why it's so important to share what you know, scale it, make it accessible via workshops or promote you. So this is also a little bit with us. With this, I would close the call if there would be no other questions from Antonio or Francisco or Cristiana. Good. Thank you so much for your time. It was a great pleasure having you. We will also share some updates on social media on this regarding content, and there will be certainly more information around that. So I wish you a very good rest of the evening, and I hope to see you soon on the next Frogeex Green Tech Talk or one of the others. We will have certainly one on bamboo, comparing bamboo to other construction materials, because it's just so connected. And it was also very important that what was mentioned, that sustainability is seen sometimes as, an element. A hotel is done, has a roof, has a water harvest element, and it's completely sustainable. But the whole idea, the concept is what also Mario is, for example, working with, or Julian as well. It's a little bit lost. It's totally forgotten sometimes. So thank you so much for sharing your expertise, and again, wish you a very good rest of the day, and let's talk soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.